Hello friends, welcome back to Not the Homestead. I'm actually out and about today running errands, and I have an appointment, but I am early, so I thought, you know what? Well, there's a dog barking, but I haven't been to the antique store in a really long time, and while I don't need anything, it is always fun to look around, so I'm going to wander around the antique store for a little bit and just see what there is to see. Hello friends! I thought I would just bring you out here to the greenhouse for a little bit. I'm actually going to walk you out into the front garden area here in a minute. You know, we had that unusually cold snap here in northern Alabama, and it's nothing earth-shattering, but it doesn't get that cold here every winter. It does get that cold here. It's gotten that cold here since we've lived here at the homestead. But, you know, for the last few years, we've had really mild winters. And I had plants that made it through all of those winters just fine. But I think there's a few plants that didn't make it this time around. We don't get negative temperatures very often in northern Alabama. Like I said, it happens, just doesn't happen that often. And so it'll be interesting to see what other plants come back. I mean, I can already tell that there's a few coming back. We'll just have to see what ends up pulling through in the long run. But before we walk out there, I just want to give you a terrible teaser. There are some things that are going to be beginning to look very, very different. And it's more than just my hair. As you can see, my appointment that I had, that I touched on in my last snippet, was to get my hair cut. I just felt it was time for a change. And, you know, I do enjoy being able to braid my hair, and I do like it long, but I also like it like this. And I'd been contemplating doing this for months and had made the decision to go for it. But there's also going to be some other things that are going to look a little bit different. And I'm really, really excited to share that with all of you. But I'm not going to share it today. Soon. Very soon. But not today. I know I mention often my newsletter, my email newsletter. If you are not subscribed, it is truly the best way to stay up to date and to know when things are coming and to not miss announcements. And when I do this very special video very soon, you're definitely not going to want to miss this. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got the notifications turned on. The notifications are not 100%. YouTube says they don't send out all the notifications. So to make sure you don't miss it, make sure you signed up for my newsletter, because I will let you know when that video is coming. Actually, I have a couple secrets I've been keeping. But you'll find out about them soon. And y'all, this is going to be big. Real big. So, let's go out there to the garden and see what's still alive and what is long gone. So my garden sage looks like it is toast. I don't know if any of this will come back from the roots or if it is done for. I mean, there's a possibility that there might be some new growth, so I won't pull this out yet, but it is in bad shape. Alright, now this was my pineapple sage, and in our area sometimes it makes it, sometimes it doesn't, but I can tell you I do not expect this to come back this year. So this'll get pulled out. Now this down here was silver posy thyme, and it looks like it's going to make it. I mean, the edges kind of dried up, but the internal part of the plant still looks good. So we'll just clean this all up. This was tarragon. I don't expect this to come back. Really, I'll just cut the plant down and I'll leave the root system. So if it will come back, it'll have the ability to, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. So it looks like some of my chives are coming back. So that's good. I've got some flowers popping up in there. I can't remember what that was. It might have been crocuses. I honestly don't remember. This flower will come back. I'll just cut off all this dead stuff. And this one's coming back in there as well. Echinacea. And then in my big long bed here, I really was not expecting these to come back, but my Egyptian walking onions are. I've got new growth coming up in the middle, so that really makes me happy. Now my cabbages are, yeah, let's not even talk about those. But over there I have more thyme. That is German winter thyme. Looks fantastic. Now it did turn colors. It turned a little bit red from the you know, below freezing temperatures, but there will be new growth and that'll come back great. All of the yarrow here just looks like a great big mess. This really was going to get cleaned out anyways. This will just completely take over this entire bed. So I was going to purge all this out anyways, but it is coming back and you can see it all in there. I think it's like almost impossible to kill yarrow. It can become invasive if you're not careful. Now this is lemon sage in here, and I actually see a tiny little bit of new growth in there. So I'll clean this up and, you know, fingers crossed it comes back. And then this was my curry herb plant. I'm not hopeful about this. Alright, so I came back in here to the greenhouse because it is really gusty out there. I don't even know if you were going to be able to hear me talking where I was just pointing out some of the plants. I was going to show you more, but I just cut it short because, like I said, it is super gusty and I don't know if the microphone even be able to hear me. But one other thing I did want to mention, because I don't remember if I have or not, was I had people asking me about our chickens. I shared about the predator attack. I shared about Yosemite Sam being terrified and how they were just finally starting to come out a little bit, but they weren't going too far from their coop. They are back to normal now, and in the time lapse of the fog this morning, you could see them out and about just doing their chicken things. They did not come out of their coop for a week, and I mean, they would come out, they would eat, they would run back inside. Like, they didn't come out and stay out and do the chicken things for a full week. It might have even been longer than that. It was a little crazy, and I was feeling really bad for them. But they're back to themselves now, and the hen that was injured, she's fine. Now, when she was injured by the hawk, we were afraid that it was her eyeball that was injured. I don't think it was actually her eyeball. I think it was like the eyelid, and the ointment I put on helped. She didn't get any infection or anything like that, and she is perfectly fine now. You wouldn't know that anything had happened. You know, it's never fun when your animals get injured or when bad things happen, but you know, you just do your best and you do what you can to care for them and make them comfortable. And you know, if the worst happened and her injuries had been beyond reasonable hope of recovery, you know, as hard as it would be, we would have put her down. We're not going to let an animal suffer here on the homestead. You know, sometimes things happen, and it is a kindness to put them out of their misery. I mean, that's where that phrase even comes from. You don't ever want to do it, and it's never easy. It hurts to have to do that. But realistically, you know, a lot of times you're not going to have vets who are going to see chickens. You might be able to find an exotic pet or bird vet who would be willing to find a chicken, but most vets aren't going to be willing to do so. And they're just, I know people who have called up vets about injured or sick chickens, and the vets actually laughed at them. They're like, it's a chicken. But that said, you know, we're going to do everything we can to care for them and keep them well and happy, and you know, live as long as they can reasonably while having that happy life. And I talked about that in that video when I talked about the predator attack and my philosophy on things. But in any case, I just wanted to share that update with all of you. I have an appointment here shortly that I need to go get ready for, and so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for hanging out with me here again at the homestead. I hope you enjoyed our little visit, and like I said, there's big things coming, so stay tuned.